everyone, welcome back to Rebecca's Colouring Arts and Crafts. So I was going to finish the background on this and then do the whole piece, but as I was saying in the last video, I then realised maybe I'm worth working on it in sections. So since I've done that side, then I'm worth working on the castle bit and then continuing with the clouds and then castles and clouds and birds and all of that. So pretty much I decided to start recording this rather than doing all the background and then rubbing little bits off and having to touch up, and that I decided to continue and start on this castle. I've done a little bit of a tester here of some rock colours that I was looking at for the rocks in this building because there's quite a few of them. And then I haven't worked out the colour of the building yet, but I'm just going to do the rocks this time. And then I will do the building and the wooden planks and stuff like that next time. So I'm going to start with that. So I've got 5 colours here that I'm actually going to use with our rocks. I'm obviously going to try and incorporate some of the fluoro colours in different spots. Like obviously with these rocks I'm going to be incorporating the fluoro pink. I'm using Prismacolor Premier pencils and I'm using the 150 set, which does have the fluoro neon colours. So I'm using the fluoro pink on this. I may try and use some of the fluoro orange in the roofs or something. I haven't decided yet. That is not set in stone. I don't know what I will do there, but I just wanted to incorporate a bit of the fluoro colours just to, I guess, kind of make them, kind of work with the fluoro evening sky kind of thing, the bright evening sky, which is obviously why it's such fluoro purpley colours, but I'm also wanting to make it a bit fantasy-esque. So we're going to be starting here, and I'm going to go over a few of these with the one colour, and then I'll go and work other colours in. Some areas I may work all the little colours at once, I don't know. I'll probably just do each rock and then work it in, because obviously some areas of the rock are going to be a lot smaller spaces because they're under buildings and stuff, and I don't want to mess those up too much. So I'm going to start with my Prismacolor Premier Dark Brown PC946. And pretty much what I want to do with dark brown, I'm going to have my light source is mostly coming from this way, as you can tell by the clouds. And our little light area, which is up here, I don't know if you can see that, but up here, this is a bit of our light sky area between the clouds. So I want to work with my light source coming from this way down. So obviously a lot of my shadows are going to be over this side of our rocks and buildings. And obviously we will have some shadows where obviously the cracks in the rocks or those are, as we go, and we shall work these around with our light source areas. And we want to do like a deeper area, but also leaving some shadow for blending, light shadow for blending our next colour in. So we're obviously going to be working in a lot of colours, so we need to try and leave quite a bit of space if we can. These little thin lines, I'm actually going to be just having the pinky sort of cones in those, so don't worry about putting any colour in those areas. I'm just going to have the 2 pinky tones in those areas, as I said. And I'm not worrying about bringing the brown up on this side of the piece because that's where our light source is coming from. So I don't want the shadows there. But I do want it where this rock is sort of jutting in front. and where these clouds are too. I sort of want the light source over those areas. There is still a bit of the, you'll notice there is a bit of the white showing through in spots as you're doing this, because I've done the white over these lines to try and fade them out a bit, and obviously that is going to overlap a little bit into the other image, but we just do the best we can to work it in as it is. We do. And obviously it will show a bit, but I'm not really worried about that because I did want to kind of fade out those black lines a bit, and I'm still playing with it and experimenting, and as I said in the past video, I'm hoping that I may eventually be able to find a Faber-Castell pit pen that will allow me to, shall we say, have more control with wiping out those lines, like the Posca pens and stuff. From what I've looked at, they're just too thick for what I want. So, and these little areas down here, I'm just going to do the brown at the bottom areas, just because well, our light shadows would be down those areas and the light source is kind of going down those areas, so I don't want it particularly up over these areas. I do want the shadows there, but I don't want it particularly up in those areas, so I'm going to bring it down into our bottom areas more rather than those top areas. And then I also want to bring some of our brown down into these areas. Like some of these areas between the bows may not have the pink. Trying not to go over the little ramp line things. We don't want to go over those really if we can avoid it, just because the slats are part of what's holding the whole thing up, and we don't want to completely get rid of that by accident by colouring over it. And then next, what I'm going to come in with is my Tuscan Red PC937, and I want to bring that over all our previous colours and obviously do our little light shading area as well to allow me to bring that in. I'm not worrying about going over any of those little areas either. That is just the pinks that I want in those spots, and trying to make sure that you leave as much space as possible for those other colours. Like, there may not be quite as much room, but I'm trying to leave as much space as I can for the neon pink and the other pink to bring them in from the clouds kind of thing. Not just bring in those colours from the clouds, but because I want it to be unique and very fantasy-like as well. I might have done a little bit much of the dark colour with it, I don't know, but I work it the best I can. I will. And then once I've done this, I'll just try and do that. I'll go and do the one colour so it doesn't take so long through all the rocks and so on and so forth. But I just want to give you an idea first of colours that I'm using and just what it's going to look like, I guess you could say. by just doing this rock first and then adding the other colours, but I think I would rather do it this way just because then it allows me to not miss so many areas kind of thing. Like when you're doing a whole heat, I've noticed it's a lot easier to miss little spots and areas which you don't always want to do. So I'll probably just do each separate rock kind of like this, and then work on each little rock, and then each single rock basically, and then work up and down, and that's not up and down, but basically do say this rock, then this rock, then this rock, then this rock, then this rock. So we're just working on each area single so that we don't miss spots or areas with these rocks. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I hope it does. I hope it makes sense. Trying not to go over the slats and little ramp areas. You might need a sharper pencil for these areas because I almost did it before, so I'm just trying to be extra careful in these spots right now. Next colour I want to come in with is my Prismacolor Premier Henna PC1031. I'm still trying to make sure that I leave plenty of room for the final colours, because we've still got 2 colours to come in with yet. So I want to try and make sure that I leave room for those 2 colours. I want to do my best to. Maybe this one would have been better being done like these bottom ones, but it might have. But do my best. And we want to come over all the colours again. Making sure we don't go over those slats. Now, our next colour is going to be a Prismacolor Premier Process Red. And to me, this is more of a pinky tone to me. I kind of want to bring that in here. There's not going to be enough room for the neon pink in this bit, but we will bring the neon pink into this little area here where we've left it open. We want to bring this processed red over all our colours because we want that pinky tone in there. It's a shame I couldn't get my neon pink in there. I really wanted it in there, but I probably should have done it slightly differently now I think about it, but I can always do others slightly differently, but then it may look odd, so we'll just make it work as best we can. Making sure I'm trying to leave some space for the neon pink in these other areas too. And I want to bring our processed red along these little rims too. I do. And we want to bring that processed pink over all the colours because we want to sort of make those rocks like a pinky brown. Trying to leave space for our final colour, even though there may not be a lot. We still want to try and leave space for our final colour because I really want to keep those, get those that neon pink in there. You really do, or I really do. More like, more to the point. And now, lastly, yes, I've got time. I want to come in with my neon pink PC1038, and I want to use that to just fill in all these areas, but also bring it over our processed red a bit, just to make that stand out more, as well as these little rim areas where we left a bit of white. We just basically I traced a line of the process red down them just to create a bit of depth, but I really want some of the neon pink in those areas too. And even though I've combined two neons for the clouds, I've sort of noticed the two neons sort of go, when you try combining them together, they don't combine quite as well. Like they aren't bad, but they aren't quite as good as one on its own, which is why I decided just to use, well, I was going to use both colours, but then I decided because of the space I would only use the neon pink because it worked in with the processed red and the colour of the rocks and all of that. It did. And there we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause, then I think I might just try doing one colour at a time, go around, do all the rocks in that colour, then work the way through. I'll see. I'm thinking that may not work. I'll probably just do one rock at a time. I know it'll take longer doing it that way, but I think that's probably what's going to work best right now. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to just pause it here and then I will be back shortly and we'll keep going with these rocks. I kind of am thinking probably one at a time probably is going to be better rather than trying to do the whole heap at once and getting confused. But yeah, anyway, I will see you back shortly and we'll keep going. So hey everyone, I'm back. So I hope you're enjoying these few things. I decided to add in a few fantasy things, partly because it was Halloween, but I know they may not get posted in time for Halloween, but I'm doing the best I can with my wrist and that, and right now I'm just focusing on, as I said, editing. I'm not editing, recording in advance so that I've got as many recorded as I can if anything does happen with my wrist, because I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping it won't lead to surgery or anything, but I don't know. It depends. Right now I'm in different splints and braces and all sorts of things trying to get it better, but it's not really improving that much, so I don't know exactly what is going to happen. But yeah, so I just want to get as much recorded as I can so that it's easy to just go through and edit it. I'm in quite a lot of pain at times and doing my art does make it worse, but it's something I love, so I'm going to do it anyway. But yeah, so we're going to continue here with our dark brown PC946, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do every rock right now or whether I'm going to do one rock at a time. I'm still deciding a bit with that as to exactly how I want to proceed with it. I am. Right, this is all the one rock area, so I'm kind of doing it at the one time. But yeah, so I don't know if it will be posted in time for Halloween or anything, but it will get posted, and I'll obviously be doing my best to keep going with all these parts. I just thought, well, it doesn't hurt to add in a few other things just because, well, people have been requesting them and it gives a few more different things on the channel. And I think I am going to do one rock at a time just because looking at it is going to get me confused if I try doing more than one at a time. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to come in now with my Tuscan Red PC937, and I'll say it each time I change. But yeah, so I'm sort of, I guess I'm just wanting to get as ahead as I can with the recording, just in case anything does happen, because I don't know exactly what is going on with my wrist and that yet, and so I just want to be safe than sorry, because I have been told I need to get an MRI from that and see an orthopedic, see my doctor who does my feet, who's also a hand orthopedic person, but I'm hoping it won't be surgery or anything, but you really don't know, so I just want to be, shall we say, safe than sorry, and just have as many recordings done as I can in the event that something comes up, so that I can get them edited and uploaded so you've got stuff, and trying not to go over the little rampy areas, because we don't want to go over those. We want to keep those as intact as possible so that we can see them. Like I have gone over a little bit with the colour, as you can see. I'm not trying to, but yeah, so basically I just want to be safe than sorry and get as much recording done as I can in case I can't do any for a while. So, and that includes if she wants me to rest it or something, which right now I'm still allowed to do my art, but I don't know if it's going to come to being told that I can't do it for a while or any of that. So yeah, so now I'm going to come in with my Henna PC1031, and I want to bring that over all those other colours. But yeah, so that's why I am just focusing right now on recording all this stuff in advance, just so that I'm covered and better safe than sorry. As editing I could probably still do with one hand, but recording I can't really do if I can't use a pencil. I can't. And these areas, there's some really fine areas in here, so it's kind of tricky trying not to go over these little rampy bits. So just be quite careful, because even I'm finding it difficult not to accidentally go over them a bit, and I'm trying really hard not to. Now I want to come in with my processed Red PC994, and I want to bring that over all our previous colours, as well as up a bit into those areas, just to give it that bit of a pinkish tinge to the rocks, and leaving space for our final colour as well. As well as doing a little processed red line along these areas. And a little bit of light source to allow for blending the colours into each other. And now finally we want to come in with our neon pink PC1038. And we just want to bring that down into our process red as well. Just to make sure we got that neon pink sort of colour in there. And I probably should just bring in, I'm just going to bring in a bit of my darker browny colours in that back area of this one. I do. Here we go. And so I'm basically just going to proceed like that with these colours. Yeah, I don't know that there's really much else that I can say except that that's how I'm going to proceed. I think these areas would be a lot more shadow, so I'm just going to focus on putting these areas in shadow. Obviously you're going to need a sharpish pencil for doing these spots, and to try and avoid going over our pencil slats, I'm going to still leave the areas that I want to be just the pink as empty kind of thing. And yeah, so I'm going to keep working on them that way, following the process. So our dark brown first, then our Tuscan red, then our henna, then the processed red, and then our neon pink, and that's the process I'm going to follow. So I may not remember to say the colour every time I change it, because I'm going to be doing one sort of rocky area at a time, or else I'm going to get too confused. But I hope you will be able to follow along anyway based on what I've just done with the first couple of lots. And yeah, I look forward to sharing this with you. So yeah, just remembering it's a dark brown, then Tuscan red, then henna, then processed red, then neon pink. And that's the colour combos that I am working with here. It is. And that's just how I'm going to follow anyway, so I'll put those in the description thing anyway, and you can follow it from that. And every now and then I'll put a reminder. If I remember, I'll do my best. But yeah, I hope you'll enjoy it anyway, and it's pretty much the same for every rock area that I'm going to be doing anyway, so. So these areas I'm just going to have a little more shadow for this one. And then these, since I've got the building over this side too, I'm going to do the shadow over this side and have the light area over this side, just because the buildings would obviously create a bit of that shadow. And probably, even though our light source is coming from this way down, there would be some light coming in from these clouds on this side as we rotate around the different areas of the castle. So I'm going to sort of work with that too. I am. And so I'm just doing one rock at a time and working on each rock at a time. I am. Trying to make sure we don't go over any of those slats or parts of the building as well. As best we can, because I don't want to accidentally cover those because they're an important part of the image. Just following the colour directions that I told you with the other rocks. Making sure that you don't accidentally go over the slats either when you're doing the pinky areas as well, because I almost went over this area when it was actually a slat, so luckily I didn't. So I know it's quicker doing just the whole lot and then the other how I usually do it, but this time just because of the amount of detail, I just decided I don't want to get confused and make some accidents because it's highly possible I may, you never know. So I just decided, well, I will do the one bit at a time kind of thing, because that way I'm less likely to make some mistakes, and I'm also more likely to, shall we say, get it looking exactly how I want this time, just because there is so much detail. As you'll see, there's so many little rocks in here, and I just feel, for me, if I try doing all of it at once like I would normally do, I'm going to miss spots, I'm going to make mistakes which I don't want, and so I feel like right now I just feel I'm better just doing the one rock at a time kind of thing, which is what I'm working on doing. So I'm coming in again with my Tuscan Red after I just did my dark brown, and I'll go over it a couple more times and then I might work on the rest of these bits off camera, but I'll go over it a couple more times just before I do that, and then I'll obviously bring it back once I've done those bits. I will. Now I'm going to come in again with my Henna PC1031. And I hope you don't mind that I'm doing it this way. It's just, I'm trying some new ways of doing things a bit, rather than sort of spending a whole heap of time part after part going over the one thing. I'm just trying to show you how to do that part, and you can work on finishing that off camera between then and the next part kind of thing, so you've got something that you can still do, but so that you're not just getting the same bit next part as well, that kind of thing. So that's part of my goal with why I'm doing it this way. And that little part of the window, I'm just going to leave that way for now, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. But yeah, I'm just trying to do this so it doesn't get too repetitive or monotonous with what I'm doing. Next, I want to come in with my Process Red PC994. And I want to bring that over all our previous colours. Create our pinkish rock tone. Or more of the pinkish rock tone. Leaving as much colour as we can for our neon pink, but we also want to bring in that Process Red along with other areas to just create a bit of depth for when we get to basically, I guess, bring in that neon pink. And lastly, we want to come in with our neon pink PC1038. We want to bring that over these areas of the processed red where we got space for our neon pink, where the processed red kind of came in. Just to make sure that it's blended in how I want and right. And I might just pause it there, then I will do these last two side areas here, I think, and then I'll do these last two side areas of our image here, and then I think I will go and finish the rest of the rocks off camera, just so it doesn't get too repetitive, but so that you know how to do it. And then, yeah, I will obviously leave it at that, bring it back, show you the rock bits finished, and then yeah, the next part that we do will probably be the buildings, obviously, or something like that. But yeah, just so that you at least have a clear idea how I'm doing these rocks, how I'm getting the colours, and then you can sort of work on the other rock areas off camera the same and practice that a bit. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying this anyway, and I will see you back shortly. So hey everyone, I'm back. So I'm going to, as I said, show you again these last two little areas on this side here. Again, how I'm doing these rock tones, and then once I'm done that, I'm going to go and finish those rock areas off camera. But I just want to show you so you've got a clear idea how to keep doing them yourself off camera and can keep processing and continuing with that. And obviously I will show you how I'm doing the sky later on. Right now I'm showing you the castle because it's the first bit. I didn't show you the sky because I was thinking of finishing at least a page and a half so you don't have to sit around forever watching me do the sky, because backgrounds and stuff can take forever. And as I said, I'm trying to cut down the amount of time but also leave you with something you can continue. So cut down the amount of time that something's repetitive or going over and over and over and over and over. So that's sort of what I'm also trying to work on, whilst at the same time still showing you how to do the thing. And then obviously if you have any questions you can ask me. I'm totally fine with helping you afterwards, but trying to leave you with a little bit of opportunity to continue finishing it yourself, but also give you a clear idea of how it's done, but also so that you're not having to watch something that's really repetitive over and over. As much as you enjoy it, obviously I'll bring you back and show you the whole bit of those rocks finished at the end. And yeah, I'm trying to do it a little bit differently that way so that it isn't too repetitive and things do sort of, I guess, get finished a little faster at times when needed. And you also do have a little bit of stuff that you can do off camera, but that you have a clear idea on how to do it. So yeah, anyway, we're going to come back here again with our dark brown PC946, and we want to bring that in around these colors. I'm going to leave, obviously the light sources are going to shift as you do it. So for this side, I'm going to have the light coming in this way. For as you work around this side with the rocks, the light source is still coming from this way down. So this way down. So obviously on this side, your shadows will be, as we did these rocks, more over this side, whereas over this side of the building, your shadows will be more on this side. So you'll have your lighter areas over here, your shadows are over here. This side, as you work your way around, you'll have your shadows over this side, and your light source over this side. So I hope that explains it to you anyway, so that you can sort of continue it off camera. And obviously I will show you at the end what mine looks like, so that you can see how I've done it and roughly how I've done the light source, and I'll explain that to you. So we're going to continue with our dark brown PC946, as I said. And we're going to continue with our shadows over this side, going over, so that we got our light source over that side. And I'm trying not to rub off too much of the Prismacolor pencils if I can. That's why I decided to continue this now, but I probably really did the cloud a little bit far on the bottom to not accidentally rub some little bits off. So I'm just trying my best not to rub anything off as I'm doing this. I'm using my cloth obviously to try and minimize what comes off, and that's why I decided also to, I guess, work on it this way, so that I am minimizing what comes off, what goes on, what comes off. I probably really should be working on the buildings as well at the same time as I'm doing this, but I'm not sure which colors I want the buildings yet. I was just thinking about that and thinking really I probably should be doing them at the same time, so I'm minimizing the amount of risk of color transfer by doing that. But oh well, I don't know how I want the colors of the buildings yet, so I'm just going to work on that later. I can do the buildings next part anyway when I work out the colours, but I kind of want it fantasy-esque, but I don't want to totally take away from the colours in the background either, but I still want to incorporate those colours into the rocks or into the building at the same time, but I don't want to overpower it with just colours where you can't tell which colours go where or which colours come where or what's what or what's where, which is why, well, we'll probably do the buildings more neutral sort of colours, I guess. But yeah, so I'm trying to make sure at the same time whilst I'm doing these that I don't overpower things at the same time, and trying not to go over the window ledge areas while you're doing it too. But yeah. I'm curious now as to what colours I should do those buildings. I guess I'll work it out. So now I'm going to come in with my Tuscan Red PC937, and I want to bring that colour over our previous dark brown, making sure we leave space for more colours. So I probably had a bit much dark brown in that spot, but I'll work with it. So we're doing a Tuscan Red PC937, I'm pretty certain I said, but yeah. I just had a thought of a colour that I wonder if it would work with the buildings. So I'm just quickly going to pause a minute just because I want to go and quickly get something and see if the colour tone may work with the buildings or not. Just because obviously we don't want to blend it in too much, but I kind of wanted those pinky rocks, but at the same time I still want the buildings and those rocky areas to stand out, and the rocky areas are kind of standing out a bit different because they've got the browns in them, but it's still, obviously I'm not going to want every colour with every area with fluoro tones, so I'm not going to do any fluoro tones in the buildings obviously, but I kind of feel like the reflections of the rocks would have a bit of that pinky tone, or on the rocks would have a bit of a pinkish glow to them, because I wanted them to be a bit pinkish anyway, but because of the sunset and stuff like that. But I think with the buildings, I don't want any neon colours in these buildings at all, because obviously I don't want to overpower it with the neon colours, but I still feel like these rocks are working with the sunset area. So I'm just going to quickly pause. I'm going to go and get another book which I've done a colour combo in, and I just want to see how that will look and if it will work for these buildings quickly, and yeah, I will be back. So hey everyone, I'm back. So yeah, I just had to change the camera battery again, but I've got a bit of an idea as to what colours I may use for the buildings. I'm not going to do it right this minute, but I'm going to work on finishing this. At least this will give us a good idea of how this colour is going to look against the background, which I'm hoping it won't overpower it, fingers crossed. So I'm going to come in with my Henna PC1031, and we want to bring that over all our colours, obviously leaving space for our two more colours we've got to go in these areas. So we want to leave space for them. We do. And I might even try a bit of the building colours that I'm thinking of off camera, like I'm thinking like a light sort of sandy sort of colour, something that's going to stand out against the rocks, but at the same time create a bit of interest and difference in the image without the fluoro tones and stuff like that. I'm thinking. And I'm thinking once I've done this bit, I was thinking of going over this little bottom rock as well, but I'll see. I may do it as well. Yeah, I'll see how I'm going. Time-wise as to what I do, or if I, because you've got over 40 minutes of me basically doing the same sort of thing over and over, so I'm sort of hoping that it will reinforce it. But if you do have any questions, feel free to ask. Now I want to come in with my processed red PC994. And we want to bring this in to these areas as well as some of these areas, trying not to fill the whole thing in like I just did there by accident. I wasn't intending to fill that spot in quite so much. I wasn't. And we want to do that over all our previous colours, and obviously putting some in here but leaving some space for our final colour, which is our neon pink. Yeah, trying not to fill up the whole area with the processed red by accident. Some of these areas have been filled up more than I wanted to, which wasn't deliberate, but some of these areas didn't have a lot of space, so just do the best you can anyway. And obviously at the moment I'm finding it a little harder because my hand isn't good either. It isn't. Now we're going to come in with our final colour, which is our neon pink, and we want to bring that over all our little areas with the processed red, and these upper areas we want to make sure that we get a bright neon pink into these rocks as well. Just because it's kind of like, what I want them to look like is like a rock, but at the same time like they've got kind of a gem feel to them, or a mix of like gem bits through them kind of thing, like bright gems. But I'm hoping it's not going to be too much with the background either, but I'm quite liking it how it is currently. I am. So yeah, I'm going to leave this part at that. I'm hoping it's not blending too much into the background. Yeah, I quite like it. I think it works. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to continue with those bits off camera. I'm also going to just test one of these buildings off camera with the colours that I was thinking of, and yeah, I will see you back in once I've done that kind of thing. So it might not be tonight because it's getting late. It'll probably be more tomorrow or something, but yeah, anyway, I will see you later. So hey everyone, I just thought I would quickly bring this back here and I would finish this off here. I was intending to bring it back when I'd completely finished the rocks on this area, but unfortunately it is going a lot slower than I wanted with the way my wrist and that is, and so I'm not going to get that all done, and I kind of need to keep going with some other recordings and keep working on this off camera because it's taken me nearly 4 days now to just get these little bits of the rocks done because of this stupid thing. So I need to kind of get onto some other recordings or doing some other parts. So I thought I would bring you back and show you what I have done to finish with the rocks that I have done. Obviously I'm still working on some areas of buildings I've kind of made into the rock colour rather than the buildings, like the wood looking buildings. So where you'll see some windows, some of those spots I've actually made into looking like the rock. I don't know if you can see them properly here, but like here is one and there's another little one just up here, and I've made those into looking like the rocks because they didn't look like wood, and so I decided to make them look like the stone that the buildings have obviously been built in and around. But yeah, I'm sorry to decide to end it here. I really wanted to finish the rocks, but it's just taking way too long. It's been 3 or 4 days now, and I'm still nowhere near completing these rocks. So to show you the finished thing, and I need to try and, if I can, get some other videos recorded. So yeah, anyway, I hope you're enjoying this part anyway. Obviously, I will show you next time before I start the next part, the finished rocks, and obviously I'll have those done for the next part because the next part will probably work on like these building bits here, and then depending on time maybe a bit of the sky. I'm not sure what I'm going to do the birds as yet, but I'm sure I'll work it out. And there's another more intricate building, so I'll probably bring you back how I'll do it. I'll probably do like, I know I started a bit of the sky background off camera thinking save a bit of time doing that, but now I'm sort of thinking I'll probably show you how I do parts of the sky. I may not show you all of the sky parts. I may do parts off camera just to save on time and space. Same for bits of the rocks, so I'll probably cut in and out a bit, but I'll still show you in real time how to do each of the parts and the speed colouring. So each of like these little building areas, I will obviously show you how I do those, and bits of the rocks, like the rocks will probably be the same colour for each of them, so I probably won't show you the rocks again. I'll probably just leave it at this part for the rocks, so you'll be able to go through and finish all the rocks with those areas. Buildings will probably be similar to this when I show you, so I'll probably show you the buildings in one part as well. And then over here, hang on, I'm just going to have to pick it up and move it. Over here, you notice we've got this big building. I'll probably show you this one in a separate tutorial as well, off camera, on camera, just so you can do it. I'll probably do it for each of the different buildings. I'll probably do a part for each of the buildings so that you can see how I do them, and in case they end up slightly different, I don't know. The sky will probably be pretty similar. The rocks, I'd say, will be the same, and obviously the sky will be the same. But yeah, so I'll show you how to do the sky, the buildings, and each of the new buildings as I get to it with the sky and work on it. I'll obviously show you how to do that with the birds or the seagulls or whatever they are. I'm thinking possibly silhouettes, but I haven't fully decided yet, so I'll obviously show you those as well. But yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed this part anyway. If you have, please leave a like, subscribe and comment. I always love hearing from you. And yeah, obviously I will show you in parts and make sure that you can do the whole thing, so you can do the whole sky with the sunset and the birds and all the different buildings. So I'll show you each of the buildings as I do them, because there's obviously different sizes, different heights, all of that. However, the rocks will be exactly the same on each of the buildings with the way the light is, and well, not just the way the light is, but obviously I'm swapping the rocks depending on which angle they are for the light. So the ones over this side, the light's more on this side. The ones over this side, I'm trying to do the light more on the outside. So I'm trying to rotate it and vary it because of the angle that the buildings and that are going. But yeah, those rocks will be exactly the same colours for each of the buildings. So if you want to go through and finish the rocks on all the buildings, feel free, because they're going to be the same on each of the buildings, or you can wait till I'm doing it as well. But I'll probably do most of the rocks off camera, depending. I may not. I may do some more of the rocks on camera just because of the fact that, well, I'll be doing those buildings, but I'll just see how it goes as to, because I'm going to try and work in sections, so I'm rubbing off as little colour as possible with things and do it that way. And obviously some of these areas right in close to the spine, obviously I will be doing those off camera as well, just because those areas are really, really awkward to get into, and I'm going to have to lay it down flat at a 90-degree angle and do that again just because of this. I'm obviously using just a couple of books propped underneath it at the moment because of where the angles bend with the book. It didn't quite work with one book. It was still sitting up way too much, and that's why I'm using the two books underneath. So I'm just using a Joanna Basford book and a Hannah Carlson book to try and prop that up right and have that work right. I've also got a bit of cardboard underneath the image as well. But yeah, so I'll obviously show you this in sections. I'm probably not going to show you all the stuff, all the background sunset on camera. I will probably wait to show you the sunset bit for over on this second page, because it's going to be flatter and this side is just going to be way too awkward to show you with the bend in the page and all of that. It's going to be much easier for me to work on that side off camera with the sunset. But I will show you the buildings and buildings on camera at least, and yeah, I'll show you the sunset and how I do that over on this page along with the rocks and that. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this part anyway. As I said, please leave a like, subscribe, comment if you have anything you want to say or any questions you want to ask. I'm happy to help as I can, and I will see you next time. Bye.